Hi, I'm Adrian Hart. I'm a filmmaker and a youth worker. In 2006, I made a film about racism for primary schools in Essex. I think its message is more important today than ever. So, with a few updates, here's version 2 of Only Human.
If children from another planet were observing us from far away, what would they see? If they were to look at Britain, they'd see an amazing, fantastic mixture of people living and working together. But they'd also notice that people talk and worry a lot about something called race. It might seem odd. After all, we're only human. In this film, we will explore what it is to be human, why we sometimes pick on each other's differences, and try to understand what exactly is racism.
If we were to trace back our family tree, most of us would find that we're a nation of immigrants and we've all come from other places.
Huh?
Britain is a place of invaders and settlers, isn't it?
4,000 years ago, Beaker people came to Britain from Iberia, which we now call Spain.
Celtic people came from Europe 2,800 years ago.
Almost 2,000 years ago, Romans invaded.
Across the centuries, Angles from Denmark, Saxons from Germany, and Normans from France invaded and settled here.
Traders came, Jewish people came, gypsies came.
French Protestants, known as Huguenots, were in danger in France and fled to England.
From the 1700s, many people came to trade on the shores of Britain.
British ships had sailors from China, West and Northeast Africa.
In the mid-19th century, African former slaves and Irish people escaping harsh conditions settled in Britain. Immigrants came from Europe. They included persecuted Jews.
The rise of anti-Semitic laws in Hitler's Germany caused Jewish refugees to seek safety in Britain,
with 10,000 Jewish children arriving here when the war ended.
In 1947, the partition of India caused many Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs and Christians to come to Britain from the Indian subcontinent.
After the war, workers from the Caribbean came here to help rebuild Britain.
In the 1960s, the new National Health Service relied on doctors and an array of medical and care staff to come here from Africa, South Asia and many other places. But it's not just Britain that's a fabulous mixture. So are you. We all have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, and 8 great-grandparents. If we go back 5 generations, we have 32 ancestors. If we go back 10 generations, we have 1,024 ancestors. And so it goes on. We may know who our great-great-grandfather was. But do we know who our father's father's mother was? But one thing is for sure, if we could see far enough back, we'd see that our ancestors came in all colours, shapes and sizes, and from all around the world.
We have, in our difference in hair colour and our difference in skin tone, from freckles and red hair to blonde hair and fair skin to darker skin and darker hair, we show that we have come from all over Europe and beyond.
We've got millions of ancestors, and each one of those has actually passed down their DNA to us. DNA is a template of life, and it's this template that contains the genes that controls the differences that we see in individuals.
Everybody has got something in them that comes from some other country.
It's the joining of the DNA of these ancestors that have come together in each of us as individuals that makes us unique.
Every person is unique. No two people are ever exactly the same.
We come from different places. We are proud of different things.
It's part of who we are.
Despite our amazing differences, there are so many things that we have in common.
Huh?
Very dangerous. Not for me, only for the front row.
We all laugh together, eat together,
Play together. And dance together. But there's something about the human spirit that binds us all together, whoever we are, wherever we're from. Maybe it's because we all start out the same.
DNA is in our genes, the stuff that we have right from the start of our lives as embryos. We share 99.9% of the same kind of DNA with all other human beings.
so we literally have a lot in common.
Life is more than just DNA. Life is, to me, life is all about being in love, enjoying the world as it is.
We're sharing the same world. Food, water, shelter, warmth, all those things are all things that we all want for ourselves and our children.
We have the ability to feel what another person feels, no matter who they are. The ability to empathise. The ability to feel what another person feels.
We have all probably been mean to someone at some point. When we have said or done something we know is wrong or hurtful to others.
Ugly minger. 4 eyes. You can't even speak English, Papa.
We can also understand what it feels like to be hurt by someone else.
So why do we pick on people's appearance or something else that's different about them? Well, it's actually this year I was picking on this girl in my class and I was calling her names like Fatty Fatty Boom Boom and Big Nose Pig Face. I thought it would make me look cool with the gang and I was the person who could bully the most.
I saw this Indian man and he spoke to me in a different language. I said, "Do you know any English?" And then he said no. I called him a packy. The reason why I was nasty because he was wearing baggy clothes and a headband thingy that goes around your head. And I don't understand what he was saying. I just wanted to make my mates laugh and to make myself look cool. And I knew I should have done it because it's not that nice, because you might upset their feelings and stuff. I can imagine how he felt like really like disappointed because I called him that. We're all humans and we've all got feelings. Yeah, I've got feelings and everybody else has got feelings.
If we were honest, we'd probably all have to admit that we have been nasty to someone by picking out a difference and making it into an insult.
There's a certain kind of way that people deliberately hurt other people that we need to talk about now. It's called racism.
What exactly is racism?
Racism is a way of singling people out and treating them differently.
It's based on the belief that you can divide people up into groups and then you call these groups races.
Huh? If there was a children's story to help us understand racism, it might go a bit like this. Once upon a time there was a colourful planet called Kaleidos. The capital city was full of people from all over the planet. They loved to sing and dance together. There were people from the north, where the climate was colder, who looked like this, and people from the south, where the climate was warmer, who looked like this, and everything in between. But despite their differences, they were all the same really. They all had 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 eye. They all loved singing and dancing and being friends. One day, the king of Kaleidos woke up with a problem on his mind. How could he be sure to remain rich and powerful forever? He decided to split his people up into different races. He convinced them that the people in the south weren't as good as everyone else. More like animals. That way the king had a perfect excuse to turn them into slaves and blame them for his mistakes. The people of Kaleidos didn't realise they'd been tricked. Racism is based on a belief that isn't true. Racism is based on the belief that people can be divided into separate races, but there is only one race, the human race.
People take this belief and they use it to excuse physical violence or name-calling against people from different backgrounds or different skin colours.
It makes no sense to divide people up into different races based on their skin colour, because that would be the same as dividing people up into different races based on whether they can roll their tongues differently.
Let's look at some examples when differences have led to groups of people being made slaves. At different times and places, many countries have been involved in slave trading.
For example, in the 15th to 18th centuries, when Istanbul was the centre of the Ottoman Empire, it imported around 2.5 million slaves from the Black Sea region.
Some tribes in Nigeria were also involved in slave trading.
Several centuries ago, Africans were caught in Africa, free Africans who lived there. They were taken across the sea, largely to America, and were sold for a good profit to be slaves, not to be servants who were paid, but to be slaves who were unpaid and very badly treated in exchange for other goods, as if they were just cattle or inanimate objects.
The belief behind this was that they were less than human.
Back then, to think this way helped justify forcing these African people to be slaves.
So is racism when white people pick on black people then?
Not necessarily.
Other groups were sometimes depicted this way. For example, Irish immigrants. And of course, throughout history, Jewish people.
The Holocaust didn't have to do with skin colour.
And we've studied for a long time about the Holocaust that happened during the Second World War, where German Nazis were against German Jews. And these were people who were exactly the same colour and spoke exactly the same language as the people who lived next door to them, but they were treated in a completely different way because of the way they lived their life. The way that they did their worshipping was completely different, and that meant that two sets of people who looked just the same were treated completely differently, so differently in fact that 6 million of them were killed during the course of the Second World War because they were different.
So is racism getting worse?
Years ago, if you had a black boyfriend or anything, you would be utterly, everyone look at you in disgust, but now I think that it's changed.
I think it's worse now than it ever was.
Getting worse.
I'd say it's probably just as bad.
People tend to think that racism is on the increase. That's because we're learning more about it, we're more knowledgeable about it, and that's good, because then you start thinking about it rather than accepting it.
Racist incidents do sometimes happen, but there are so many more moments of harmony between us.
We shouldn't forget to count all those moments where we share, dance, sing, laugh, cry, you know, all those special moments. And that happens every single day, we mustn't forget that. Because of one odd racist incident, that gets swamped. And we remember that rather than those every single day moments. Who's counting those moments?
But racism is still quite confusing. It worries us quite a lot.
Is it racist to criticise someone else's culture or their political or religious beliefs?
Sometimes we have questions, but might be afraid to ask. It's okay to ask questions, as long as you're not trying to be rude or stir up trouble.
But why do people keep using the word race? Why do they use the word race at all?
Do we need words to describe our differences?
And is it racist to mention someone's skin colour?
If you're just describing someone as black,
or white, or brown,
I wouldn't really like to say that in front of them, because they might take it the wrong way and think you're being racist to them.
Chocolate's really nice. Is it wrong to call someone chocolate?
I'm really confused.
This calls for some serious debate.
Hello and welcome to The Letitia Show. Today our topic is I'm worried about racism. Would you please give a warm Letitia welcome to Claire from Essex. Hello Claire, welcome to the show. I understand that you're a bit worried about racism.
Yeah, Letitia, I am. I wanted to know, is it wrong to call someone by their skin colour?
Let's see if there's anyone in our audience that can help us. Yes, you there, the white girl with the gorgeous big eyes.
Well, Letitia, I don't think it's wrong. I mean, we have words to describe people's hair, like blonde or red, so why should we have problems describing people's skin?
Well, how would you describe me then?
Well, I'd say you're a black woman, you have brown eyes and a very glamorous dress sense.
Thank you very much. But you're right. Sometimes we do need to identify a person, so we describe them. But I sense you're still a bit worried about that, Claire. Am I right?
Yeah, I think calling someone black seems a bit harsh.
What would you say instead?
Well, I think coloured sounds nicer.
Ah, I think it's time for us to get out the Jubilicious sweets.
Jubilicious!
Now, would you say that I'm all those different colours? It used to be a polite term to call people coloured, but things change, as words do. Now, the term is black, which, to be honest, is what I prefer to be called. Oh, we have another comment from the audience.
I like being called black, but I don't like being called chocolate.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Chocolate's a nice thing.
Yeah, but I'm not chocolate, am I? I'm black. They call me stuff like Blackie or Chuck Eyes, and I hate it.
Excuse me, but what about people like me? I wouldn't describe myself as black or white.
You're right. The brilliant thing about British people is they're a fabulous mixture of different backgrounds and looks. They describe themselves in different ways. Let's meet some of them. Would you mind telling me what you describe yourself as?
Probably white.
I'm a Muslim.
Normally, we just call ourselves black people.
I don't know.
I like other people to describe me as Asian.
Mixed.
It's really annoying, like people will label me mixed race because my dad's got black skin and my mum's got white skin, so they're like, oh yeah, you're mixed race. But it's just bizarre because it's not like there's one white race and one black race. And like, I don't know, everyone's mixed, aren't they?
I would describe myself as black.
You can kind of see why some people use the term black, because it's kind of a way to unite and fight against racism.
My mum is British and my dad is full Jamaican, so that would make me half British and half Jamaican.
My dad was born in Africa, my mum was born in England, but I wish people would stop going on so much about skin colour. Get over it.
How would you describe yourself?
Actually, I would describe myself as a really dancing kind of person.
As a really dark-skinned kind of person? Or dancey?
Dancing person.
Dancing person. What do you think of that?
I'd describe myself as half British and half Chinese. But the type of skin colour I am doesn't make a difference on what type of person I am.
Yes, the black boy in the second row. Do you mind being called black, by the way?
I love being black. I wanted to say that skin colour is just one part of who I am. I'm a big brother, I'm a footballer, and I'm brilliant at maths.
You're right.
I would like to be described as a dancer.
I'm a boxer.
I'm an Arsenal supporter.
I'm a gymnast. I'm a swimmer.
I'm an eco-goth.
But what do I do if I don't know what to call someone?
Audience?
Ask!
That's right, folks. Ask an individual what they'd like to be called, learn the lingo, and move on. Now, I'd like to welcome our second guest for the day, Darren. What's your worry?
I've been told there's no such thing as races, and you hear it all the time on TV and newspapers and stuff. What's going on?
That is a tough question. I guess language is a funny thing. Sometimes we just pick up on phrases and we don't know what they mean. And if we use them too much, we don't think about it. Human beings love labels. And these labels change through time. Words that lots of people use go out of fashion when it's decided that they're not good anymore. Just like coloured. Maybe the word race is like that. Yes. The small girl in the middle at the back, what did you want to say?
I'm going to start a trend. I'm not going to use it anymore.
What would you use instead?
You could not use any word at all, because there's only one race, the human race.
Let's stop using the word race.
Why do you need words to separate people? We're all the same on the inside.
We're all the same on the inside. It's like what's on the inside is what counts. But what does that mean? I think it's time we put our thinking caps on. Do I have any answers? Yes, you. The small boy with the very cool trainers.
What's on the inside is feelings.
And all our feelings are the same.
That brings me to Letitia's last moment. Yes, people. It's about empathy. No one can say that skin colour is more important than the way we feel. How we think and feel and what we do in the world matters so much more than how we look. I've been Letitia, you've been you. Catch you later.
If children from another planet were observing us from far away, what would they see? In Britain's schools, they would see children from all sorts of different backgrounds and cultures getting along with each other, like they always have done, regardless of skin colour or anything else that's different.
Sometimes when we argue in the playground, we pick on the one thing that is most likely to hurt the other person. We might pick on their size, the way they speak, or the colour of their skin. And even though we usually make friends again afterwards, it's nasty and we shouldn't do it. But there are other times when someone decides to make another child in their school a target.
We are going to see an example of when someone is picked on for no other reason than their skin colour.
This is a true story. We've changed names to protect the people in the story, but everything you hear really happened to someone. Anna moved to a new house and a new school in Essex 3 years ago. In school, there was a boy and a girl in her year who picked on her all the time because she was black. One day, Anna was on her way home from school when the bus broke down.
Get out of my way, you dirty monkey.
Move! Why are you looking at me? Do I look like a banana to you? Dirty piece of charcoal. Don't look at me. Do you hear what I said? Dirty monkey. Oh, look at you, you dirty tramp. Where you going? Monkey, monkey!
Before she even knew what was happening, the boy had his hands around her throat. She couldn't breathe and thought she was going to die. Instead of coming and helping her, Anna watched the bus driver turn his back and walk away. Finally, the boy's brother pulled the boy off Anna. Anna had so many feelings in that moment. She felt really angry and really frightened. The girl said,
"Don't worry, I'll get her to school tomorrow. I'll stab her."
Although Anna told the police, the people on the bus pretended they hadn't seen anything. And although the boy and the girl were suspended from school, it was only for 2 weeks and they were back. They still wait for Anna to be alone so they can threaten her.
It's rare in our schools, but there are instances when bullies target a child.
They pick on this child over and over again whenever they get the chance. They make his or her life a misery.
When this kind of bully picks on skin colour or some other difference and says, "I hate you because you're black," a Jew, a gypsy, chinky, and when this bully believes that they belong to a better type of human being, this is racism. If this happens to you, tell an adult. But always remember to stand up to racism. When we do stand up, all together, united, we feel stronger.
We are all humans together. There is so much that unites us. Together, let's make a future where racism is a thing of the past.